Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII-2 on the Mysterious JG. And something happened off screen that I need to walk you through real fast. And I do mean real fast because it's really not a whole lot to say about it. But we got another fragment.
Final Fantasy XIII-2.
Can I skip this, please? We can skip this. So, I went back to Casino Zone, and following the strategies listed in the manual, basically, which meant buy a whole bunch of you get a fragment for winning 7,777 casino coins. You have to win them, not buy them. And you win casino coins by buying casino coins and then putting them in the slot machine, which can sometimes pay out casino coins. Generally, you always lose more than you win, but because there's an autoplay feature, you can just you can just buy like over 150,000 casino coins and just do autoplay for a while, and it'll eventually you'll eventually win 7,777 casino coins, even if you're losing overall. And that's exactly what happened. I did it using autoplay. I vaguely thought about showing you guys what it looks like, but we already have a video where I showed you the casino tutorial with the slot machines, and that's really all it was. I just set my controller down. I put something so it was constantly pressing the L1 trigger, which is autoplay, and I did other things. And I actually missed it. Like at some point, I just kind of went to the menu, pulled out, went to the menus, checked, and sure enough, I'd won it. And I didn't get to see the cinematic on screen. But I looked up the cinematic. You can go on YouTube and type it in. You will find guide videos on how to win this crystal, which at least one of them actually showed what happens when you do win it. And the screen literally goes black, and Sarah goes, "Hey Noel, does that coin look different to you?" And Noel says, "Maybe it's a gift from the goddess. Maybe it's a symbol of luck." And then it says, "Lucky coin fragment received." And that's it. There's no visuals at all. It's just a black screen with like less than probably 15 seconds worth of voice acted lines. So you can go look it up for yourself if you want to, because that's it. That gets us to only having 7 left, and they're all associated with paradox endings except for one. Or 2, excuse me, and I did look them up and found out how I missed them, and I'm super annoyed about it, because even though they don't show here, they're here, which I don't get to revisit. You have to come here, close the gate, and go through the plot again and come back here, and it shows 5 of 5, but in fact I missed fragments. Remember that whole section of the game where you can go, lightning wants, like an illusion of lightning wants to draw you into this fantasy of happiness, which pulls you out of the game and causes the end of the world, but you at least have a happy fantasy. But then the voice of Vanille and the voice of Fang break you out of it. Well, apparently I was supposed to use Moogle Hunt at some point and find hidden fragments, so fuck that. Because the game gives you no indication they're here. Now, you can go to the Fragments menu. By location, you'll see I've got them all except for 2 in New Bottom, Year Unknown. Ah. Well, this New Bottom, Year Unknown doesn't show up on the map. We have New Bottom 700 as fuck, and then we have New Bottom 001. New Bottom, Year Unknown doesn't show up here, but it's connected with this place. So, I was about to say there's no way to find it through the, I guess that's not quite true. So you could realize that way, hey, there's something going on here. I didn't find all these. But, the other thing is if you go to categories, we're missing them in Academic Reward, that's the completing the bestiary one. And then we're missing 2 affectionate messages, and then 4 paradox endings. But when you don't get them, they don't give you any clue as to where they are. So again, you'd need the guide to find them. It's kind of bullshit. So what we're going to have to do is close the gate We already did this to get Snow's paradox ending. Well, now we got to do it again. So I'll probably listen to some of the dialogue and make fun of it on a second pass, but the stuff that we just did to get Snow's ending, I'm skipping through. Where we have Alyssa and Hope welcoming you to the world. But yeah, we have to take the thing from Alyssa, even though we know it's booby-trapped, and replay that section of game to get additional chaos fragments, I guess. But most of the remaining chaos fragments are actually associated with replaying this portion of the game, because there's a boss fight we have here with Caius where we win, but it still shows him defeating us, which was kind of bullshit. Well, we do that again with the paradox scope, and apparently we can win for real, which is a paradox because it prevents the true ending from the game. And then there was another point where there's a boss battle with with Noel by himself. We can redo that one using the paradox scope. Between that and the fact that we've got these 2 crystals from Fang and Vanille that we didn't get, most of the remaining paradox crystals are all involved replaying this section of the game. Although I do not know for sure that we can get them all in one trip.
Pretty well. What did you do to it anyway?
I sort of have an idea of what happened, but I can't really explain it. It was more of a hunch, really.
Well, I'm Dinty Moore, and I've got a hunch that I'm going to like being your lunch.
That's what matters, I guess.
I'm Dinty Moore. So we'll see. I'm kind of annoyed, but at the same time, it's a relief to know what I have to do to get the remaining fragments. And the only one that's going to be a pain in the ass is the bestiary fragment, because I'm going to have to sit down with my bestiary of everything we've encountered in game and go through it and compare it to the one in the strategy guide. Because again, you just can't do this stuff without the frickin' strategy guide. They went out of their way to make it so you can't do this stuff without the strategy guide. You'd have no way of knowing which enemies you're missing without the strategy guide. But I'm going to go through it and find them and make sure we encounter them. A few of them are going to be like rare encounter boss-type monsters, and others won't. Others are just monsters that we never encountered.
For paradox creatures is an exercise in frustration.
But that's it. That's all we've got left to get all of the fragments. Then we can go through and play through and get the secret ending. And then it's just a matter of, at some point, I either do all of the DLC boss battles successfully, or I just draw a line in the sand and say, no, I'm not doing it anymore. We're done. But although it seems like there's been a lot of tedious off-screening in this game, as far as my video count goes, I'm realizing this was not a very long Final Fantasy game. Because it wasn't presented as being like a...
The Academy is made.
I mean, it was a main series game.
I can't believe.
They didn't really treat it like these games weren't. Sorry, Final Fantasy XIII was not treated like it was a bigger release than Final Fantasy XIII-2. Although maybe it was kind of.
Did I tell you?
We've invented a new magic. Oh, which reminds me, we actually do. They've both got their fragment energy weapons. Whether they're really worth using instead of things that give them chain bonus or quick stagger, I'm not sure. This is giving us ATB rate plus 40%. I forget what quick stagger actually does. Allows instant staggering of enemies near their stagger threshold. Yeah. But now we've actually got Odin Blade for him, which would give him higher stats than Orochi, but he wouldn't get attack plus 40%, or attack speed plus 40. So probably for long battles, the attack speed plus 40 ones are better.
You've brought us.
I don't know, did I do the whole... I know the other day when I was recording and talking about the Gamma Quadrant. I can't remember. Did I do that the first time I went through this section too? Because that would be kind of embarrassing. Oh, by skipping it, we get the fragment automatically.
It won't be long now. Hope and his team are close to raising the new cocoon. It's hard to believe, but we really are changing history.
If only Snow would show up with a bicycle or a motorcycle made out of chicks.
Are you worried at all?
That this is a
Caius
trick
has
trap?
tried to interfere before. Maybe he will again.
Maybe we shouldn't have skipped that last cinema and
Caius, who
should have
caused the
said
Seath
no to this
incident,
thing.
was just an imposter. I wonder why the real one didn't intervene.
I hope he lets us finish here.
I'm
Maybe
sick
he
of
will.
not getting to finish with you, if you know what I mean.
That's what it'll take to protect Yule, and I know he will. I remember we argued about that very thing once, and... Wait,
My memories inexplicably one way are coming back inexplicably.
did we argue? I don't remember.
Too much
Are your
boozing.
memories playing tricks on you again? No. Something must have happened between you two.
You and your memories.
Damn it. I wish I could remember. Not being able to protect Yule, and being the only one left alive on the planet.
That's so much fun.
And then leaving that place and traveling to Valhalla, I should know these things.
I wish there was some way to find out. But I wonder, your memories disappearing.
Are you
Does it have
disappearing
anything
because
to
we're
do with the
destroying the
future changing?
timeline that you're from? That'd be pretty cool if we could erase the existence of Noel. Pretty cool. Great.
Monsters from another age do not qualify as evolved species.
Oh, some kind of anti-monsters from another age racist back there. And for some reason we're allowed to lasso him in front of people and not get in trouble with the authorities of Saint-Denis. Wow, apparently we were allowed to ride a chocobo in the city. Alright. It's not that far, so I don't think it... What do you want? Probably not necessary to get a chocobo, but... Wait a second. Sorry, I found a sign that I found curious. It was like, here's a bathroom that both men and women can use, but only if they're walking side by side. Camera is being a real pain in the butt here. Alright, so we travel back in time here and it all goes to hell. You're lucky you get to go to hell.
Oh yeah, it does look like the gate's fixed.
Pretty cool, huh?
I think we're getting close to some kind of final reckoning. Before
Well, we
jump
actually
into
already
this,
had that. Now we're
let's
trying
make
to do
sure we're
post-game
good at the fight.
extra Final
I wonder
Reckoning.
what Caius is up to. Where is he?
Well, we still don't know if he really is against us or not.
Yes, yes.
His silence makes me nervous. He's always been deadly
Stop
quiet
talking,
about
Sarah.
taking action.
Silence is well, we start talking, excuse me. Your silence is making me nervous.
Before the storm.
He's gonna get really nervous when she
He is
dies at the
about
end of the game and he has no one to talk
He's
to.
been watching everything we've done here. And if he sees a weakness, he'll exploit it without mercy.
Well, what could possibly be the weakness in the guy who can't remember his own past and the pink-haired girl who
So we better not
spent the
use
whole
gate
last
until
game
we are definitely sure.
needing to be rescued? And they're talking
Exactly.
stuffed animal friend. Where could there possibly be weakness in this group? Guys, we're waiting to the other side of the arena. Are you ready to face him? I'm ready.
Let's
Oh, apparently
go.
we can say not quite yet.
We don't have anything else to do here now. If we have to fight Caius now, then so be it. I'm ready.
Sarah, get out of there. You're being
All right, then.
covered with the radiation.
Let's go do it.
So I'm pretty sure we have to go through this to get at least the boss fight with Caius for Sarah.
We were going to drop by and see you before we left.
And we may or may not get a chance to get the other two. I might have to go through this twice.
Thanks.
I hope the future turns out like this. A place where we can be happy.
Well, we can all be betrayed by Alyssa.
Sometimes, when it looks like all hope is lost, people can turn against each other. They end up full of hate. But really, when they stop and think about it, they're making themselves sad for no reason.
The hell are you talking about?
Director, what are you looking at me like that for? Huh?
Why are you
Sorry.
tracing
I was
circles?
just remembering something.
Remembering that you're an evil traitor.
There was a time when I almost lost myself because I had so much hate in me. And then some friends showed me...
I almost changed my name from Hope to Hate.
Right. You mean lightning and snow.
No, I'm actually talking about Zaz and
It all
Daniil,
began
but
back
whatever. Go ahead and rewrite my past for me.
Weren't you the first one who said you wanted to save Cocoon? It was because Snow and Lightning vowed to carry out your wishes.
Oh, nice big
but we all
close-up of her
came
chest there.
together.
She's showing sincerity, folks.
And to this day, Vanille and Fang still keep Cocoon safe.
Even though you betrayed their memory by not collecting their special messages / fragments during your first playthrough of this stretch of the
It
game.
will fall soon. It's going to be hard for many of us to abandon our old home.
Especially with their Bishonen posters on top of skyscrapers.
But when you raise the new ark, maybe you can help our friends as well. They won't have to bear the burden of a world anymore. And just maybe, Vanille and Fang will be released from the crystal.
That was always in the back of your mind, wasn't it, Director?
It was always on my mind.
Maybe you could free your
It was
friends.
always on my
Am
mind.
I wrong?
Well,
You know what you're talking about.
It's okay. We all knew. We wanted to help anyway.
Even though we both hate Fang and Vanille for some reason.
I've had the great fortune to be helped by many people over the years.
Although Alyssa's the only one who will get a character name, and she's an evil traitor.
You gave us all a motive. You helped us make the Academy what it has become.
Even though you talked to me for 4 seconds, 100 years in the past.
I don't know how many times I almost gave up.
Humanity is doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. It's part of
Humanity is doomed. Period.
Also
End
have
of
the ability
speech.
to build new futures. Well, as you would say, Noel, exactly.
Is that his catchphrase that I missed?
Once preparations are complete, we plan to...
Well,
join
as you would say, Alyssa, trace a circle and then point at the center
I
of
want to
it.
see the raising of Cocoon with my own eyes.
I'm
So I'm
sure
going
we'll
to travel
make it.
another 1,000 years in the future,
And when we
inexplicably.
do, we'll have lightning with us.
Right. So, I guess this isn't really goodbye then, is it?
So there's no point in shaking hands then,
For a
is
new
there?
future.
Yeah, Koopa?
Yep.
See ya.
Dun, dun, dun. Wow, you're an evil bitch, Kupo. Yeah, I mean, all that nice stuff she was saying wasn't necessary. She could have just been like, I can't see you off, I gotta go later. That would have been fine. Oh no, we have a vertebrae misalignment going on. I won't have a weapon without you, Mog. Well, if you get to choose one, you definitely want to choose Mog and not Noel, because Mog is your weapon. Sarah can always just choose to have two monster characters in her party
But in the new
paradigm.
future that you wish to build, I no longer exist.
So screw you guys.
Goodbye.
Arrivederci. Goodbye. Alright, the Void Beyond. I don't remember what happens when you go to those places or why you would, but I would like to save. Just in case I mess something up and don't actually get the things that I need to get during this revisit. Alright. So I don't get to have, yeah, I really don't get to have her along with, different, I can't just use her with two monsters, which would be super handy, but we don't get to do it. So the paradox scope is on, which means that the boss battle at the end of this will be extra challenging. But whether I get to then go forward, whether that just takes me out of this by itself automatically, or if I then get to go back and get the Hope and Vinyl stuff. I don't know. Alright, like I said, I might have to make 2 trips through this. You suck, no. Stabbed him with your feather duster. So you kept asking him to kill you. He couldn't do it. Apparently, you should have just killed him a long time ago. It was easy peasy. Time marches on. The void beyond. Oh, luckily, Mog took the form of her weapon, but you can't talk to her, but she still has a weapon, which I don't really get.
Come on, Mog. What's wrong? Why won't you answer me?
What's going on? Respond!
This can't be.
So the game at least it remembered briefly, although the gameplay is not affected by the fact that with Mog gone, you don't get to have a weapon. But you do have a weapon. Oh, this is gonna be tiresome. Can I just move around run around at normal speed, please?
Come on, Mog. What's wrong with you?
What's going on? Respond! Communication with the Moogle has ceased. Carry out an investigation immediately. Been rewatching,
Get out of here.
for whatever reason, I just... I came across a speed run of it in my recommended videos, so I went back and started rewatching one of my favorite Let's Plays ever, which is when Bobo and I did a Let's Play together, even though it's a one-player game, of Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Yeah, that was a fun one. Talking to Yule may or may not be fun.
You're Yule, aren't you?
Yule, you're.
Yes, I am one of many Yules.
I'm Yule number
From your
105.
perspective,
I'm Yule number
I am a Yule
69.
from the ancient past.
Where are we? Are we trapped in this place?
This place is outside of time, although I guess not, because
I
it's
am not
500 as
truly
fuck.
here. I only watch events from a distant time.
I was just bored, so I decided to see what's going on here.
This place, it is a shadow of Valhalla. In the depths of the unseen realm, I see you held prisoner.
It's one of those sexy jails from, like, sex movie. Are you the one who's been speaking to me? How do I get out of here? What kind of world is Valhalla? Did I get trapped here alone? Are you the one who's been speaking to me?
Sometimes I can hear a voice inside my head.
I'm Randy Orton, by the
Someone's
way.
been guiding me all this time. Was it you?
Nope. I don't care what
The
happens to you.
voice you've been hearing belongs to another of my incarnations.
One that cares about whether you live
By
or
the
die.
grace of the dreaming goddess, that it reaches you.
Are you saying I can't ever leave?
No, those two ideas
you
are
do
not
not
connected in
escape,
any way.
The dream will go on forever.
Wait, don't go!
Well, depending on what the dream is about, a dream that goes on forever is not the worst fate. I mean, it could be if it's the nightmare you can't wake up from. The DFG. Alright, let's find Yule. Come on, Yule, where are you at? Let's get your butt out here.
You're a different Yule, aren't you?
No, I'm the same one. Why would I be
Yes.
different?
You have not met me yet. I call your present age my home.
But I don't even know what my present age is anymore.
You and I
It's
are the
implied to ask a woman her
same. We are
age.
blessed by Etro, her chosen servants.
Great.
Servants of the goddess?
Cool.
The power to step outside the timeline.
But if she's like a Cirrus from Padra, where does the one in her current timeline live? Because Padra's a ruin.
Her servants are known by her blessings.
Actually, I think the strategy guide explains in the extras section that the people of Padra remove themselves from the world and live in seclusion because they never really figured that out. Did the goddess give us her magic too? Is Nola a servant too? What does a servant do? What kind of goddess is she? Yeah, is she
What kind of
is she a good
goddess
witch or a
is
bad
Etro?
witch?
She is a deity of the unseen realm.
After gifting us with spirit and empowering us with will, Etro was engulfed in chaos and now drifts towards oblivion.
Are those events related? Did she start drifting towards oblivion because she gave us a will, or?
Is a gift from the goddess herself.
Cool, huh? Yeah, I just don't want to waste my time fighting like little green bugs in this zone.
I suppose you're another Yule as well.
Yes.
I don't even care if you're
I am
Ames.
from the future,
I haven't gotten that far yet, but
Very soon my presence here will fade. There is little time to tell you of the things I have seen.
About the serpent and the wishing well. So I'm not even gonna try.
Once upon a time, there were 6 and 1 Lassie, and their story is a miracle.
There were
The
7
destinies of
dwarves.
the 6 were bound through the completion
I thought you said
of a
6 and
focus
1.
that belonged to the one.
Billy Gunn.
6. That was lightning and snow and the others. And the 1, that would be me?
No, it was Dodge, obviously. You're not as important as you think you are, Sarah. That whole game was truly the story of Zaz trying to rescue Dodge.
which I mean it kind of was, but Bob clearly wasn't.
The goddess Etro saw that the Lassie fulfilled their tasks. She saw their courage and took pity on them.
She decided to
blessed
give
the
them a
6
sweet
and the
gig
1
as background
and one other,
characters in your
a
game.
child. And so she released them from the prison of crystal.
Oh, I guess Dodge is the child.
You mean it was the goddess who saved us that day?
Yeah, hand Dodge.
Yes, but in doing so, she warped time itself. Etro was fading away, and she could not restore it.
She wasn't very good at her job.
Perhaps you had the power to repair the distortion, and perhaps you did.
Or perhaps he didn't. I don't know what's
did.
going on.
What do you mean?
What was that look on her face?
The future? I can no longer see it.
Although it refuses to change, I know that from my playthrough of Chrono Trigger.
One thing I always found odd about Chrono Trigger is once you take this like view of the world across all time, wouldn't it be potentially just as valuable? I mean, I know you want to avoid the Day of Lavas and all the destruction, but wouldn't it potentially be just as valuable to find some way to help the people of the 2300s? Because clearly people survive. Help them find a way to rebuild their world rather than just screwing with. Well, whatever. Never mind.
You're Yule too. Which era do you come from?
I come from the future where you're dead, 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 and I'm happy about it.
I am the one who lives in all the ages. I am the one who dies in all the ages.
Everywhere and nowhere.
I am the one who suffers countless partings again and again.
My life sucks.
Have you come to tell me something?
No, now get lost.
You summoned me here. In this place, you can see all your heart's desires come true.
And apparently your heart's desire is to hang out with Yule.
Understand.
It's not a surprise.
Look. This is
You
the
lost
place
2
where
pounds
all
of
time
muscle in 4
flows.
weeks.
Sorry.
The dreams of
A
humanity are
screwed
here
up
washed
reference to
ashore.
a all but
A
forgotten
world without
commercial.
beginning or end.
A world where JG cuts off a video in the middle of a cinema.
because this probably segues directly into the boss fight that we've been waiting for. So when we come back next time, the boss fight we've been waiting for. See you then.